Too Many Hats podcast with your hosts with the most, Tony and Lavelle, every morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We also have Queen Watkins with Clock That He. Tune in with us and have a great time. Let's talk about it right here. Too Many Hats podcast.
Top of the morning to you, my good people. Happy Tuesday. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood, as Mr. Rogers would say, man. It's your host with the most, Tony Mays, Lavelle Salter. What it do, my guy?
Hey there, boy.
What's going on?
Man, everything.
Everything popping and locking and jocking.
So stupid.
Yeah. Man, let me get my shouts out, man. I want to get some shouts out this morning, man. First of all, let me say this, man. I am extremely excited about Saturday. I'm getting calls, texts. You need something. Y'all got everything you need. Everything good. I think people more excited than me and Lavelle excited, which is hard to believe. But it's going down this Saturday, man. It's going down. You hear me? We have confirmed, man, our partners. Everybody's gonna be there in full effect. Man, we got Lake Road, MB Church, Diamond Delights, New Sardis, Hand Up, of course, the 2 Men Ahead podcast, DJ One Love, Amazing Investments, man, and CNC Correctional Facility, man. We excited. You know the bill like CNC Correctional Facility. Yeah, I tell you.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, that's what now?
Yeah, Clarence Insurer Correctional Facility.
Okay, I was like, huh?
Nah, they got my nephew on the holding hostage over there, man, in the penitentiary, as I call it, Shirley Clarence Penitentiary. That man on 23-1. Y'all quit messing with my nephew. He on 23-1, man. But shout out, man. Shout out to all of our partners, man. We are excited about this coming Saturday. Also, man, I want to give a shout out to, I didn't catch her name, but this young lady's 14-year-old, man. She created an innovative watch that detects signs of a stroke. Man. Innovative watch that detects signs of a stroke. Man, shout out to her, man. I didn't catch her name, but you can Google it and it'll pop up for sure. I asked Google like I did yesterday, and it told me, gave me everybody's name.
Right.
Also, man, I want to shout out these triplets, man, the Graham brothers.
I saw that.
Paulie, Pete, and Ty. They Harlem triplets making waves in modeling and fashion while raising awareness about what I can't never say it. What it's called? Well, you know, not vertigo.
Vitiligo, something like that. Am I saying right?
Vitiligo, yeah. You know that where you get the spots in your hand, yeah, all that different stuff in your face. Anyway, they're spreading awareness about that. Their work is redefining beauty standards and promoting representation for all skin types. Though style and visibility, they're inspiring a new conversation about diversity. Shout out to them triplets, brother, the Graham brothers, man. Shout out to them. Then I want to shout out to another these group of 4 women, man, who were HBCU college dorm roommates now that are all judges now. Man, shout out to them, man. They doing their thing, man. Shamika Reinhardt, Camille Banks Prince, Keisha Wright Hill, and Teresa Raquel Robinson Freeman. Man, shout out to them. Good morning, Zoe. We talking about black excellence. Yeah.
Hmm.
So this morning, man, we really want to talk about. Phyllis sent me this. She said she was just kind of looking and this kind of sparked a question in her mind. Can a relationship survive an ultimatum?
Hmm.
Can relationships survive ultimatums? When you sit there and say you gonna do this or that or we ain't gonna be together, can it really can a relationship survive an ultimatum?
Hmm.
I think you're on to something, Phyllis. I think you're on to something. It's a pretty darn good question.
Hmm.
Uh, when she asked the question, I was like, cool, and I threw it out there, and it wasn't until I really started thinking about it, and I'm like, man, that's got to be a cold situation to be in, unless it's a good ultimatum. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, if it's one of those ones that's challenging, whew, and somebody kind of challenge you like that, because if a woman give a man an ultimatum, that may be like one of them things where he feel like she's challenging him.
Hmm.
I mean, in a different kind of way, challenging his manhood, and he might be like, you know what, I don't need this. So can a relationship really survive an ultimatum? You have any thoughts on that, Lavelle?
I think it depends on the relationship, not so much as the ultimatums, because, like you said, for seconds ago, if it's a thing where I'm giving it to you for your betterment, you know what I mean, so to speak. But if it's a thing where I'm trying to control you and or give you the ultimatum of we gonna be together and or less
Hmm.
or else rather.
Phyllis said it bothered her to see a person has to choose between a wife and a mother.
Mm,
Yeah, that's one of them ultimatums. Like you can't make me choose between my wife and my mom. I mean, I love both of them. My wife comes first, but
mhm.
you ain't gonna make me choose and tell me I just can't talk to my mama or my wife. You better leave. I mean, my mother telling me you better leave her. I ain't gonna talk to you. No, you both gonna be disappointed.
That's a very thin line, bro, because you got some of these relationships I've seen where you know anything they other side of the family say is like they just jump. And they'll be over there doing like I got a buddy right now that's going through something, and it's like his family do everything for everybody else, but he's going through a situation right now, but they ain't showed up, and he just pretty much say, I've been there for y'all been down, but hey, that door closed. But you got some of these people, man, to the point to where it be like anytime they say
I
jump.
don't think that's an ultimatum. I think that's a tick for tat. You know what I'm saying? I think that's one of those
Mm,
things where just because you went out there bent for everybody else, you expect everybody, and it just don't work that way, Lavelle. Because your heart that good. See, I've learned this.
yeah.
I've I've learned this, man, over my 56 years of life. Just because you do something for somebody, you can't expect them to do it in return for you. It just don't work that way.
Hmm.
So yeah, you been for them when they was down, but people may not operate under the same prowess or the same or with the same type of heart that you have.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I said, "Don't let your heart get contaminated." That's what
Yeah,
I said.
yeah. Your heart is different. Just like when I be talking about giving to somebody like, man, you just different though. No, it's just, I don't give and expecting somebody to give it back to me. You know.
Mhm.
So I think that's kind of one of those tit for tat things where, it's not really an ultimatum. Now it'd be different if his wife woke up and said, you keep running over there helping your family members and they not coming to you. So either you stop helping them or me and you done. And that's an ultimatum.
Right.
you know. Monica said, I think it can, and I see how ultimatum can be necessary in a relationship. I guess it depends on what the ultimatum is, right? Phyllis said you will be surprised at the relationships like that. No, I wouldn't. Good one.
Yeah.
What up? What up, big baby? No, man, I wouldn't be surprised because I've seen them on even on social media play out that way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But you know, can a relationship survive an ultimatum? We're gonna talk about some key insights and relationship dynamics. So yes, it can, but it depends. It can the relationship can survive an ultimatum, but it really depends on what the ultimatum is and what are the conditions. So a relationship can survive an ultimatum under certain conditions. And I think this is what Monica said. Yes, she can see how the ultimatum could be necessary in a relationship, and it also depends on what that ultimatum is, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, Survival depends on the reason, delivery, and the willingness to improve. Ultimatums are for relationships, not marriages.
A marriage is a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, you in a relationship though. So
Yeah.
and then it you got relationships that outside of the house. You got friendships, you got work relationships, you got all kinds of relationships. Good morning, Miss Gwen. And so it would be the same if I told Lavelle, either you gonna stop taking gigs in the morning or just don't come on the show. That's an ultimatum, and that's one of them ones that that may very well because Lavelle may say, man, you asking me to put my living on hold for a talk. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that could put a strain on a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So no. But survival really depends on the reason, the delivery, and the willingness to improve. So I think it has to have those. It depends on those three elements of the ultimatum and to whether it can survive or not.
I mean, and then let's just bring this all the way home and put this in all the way in your face. When you say ultimatum, that means it's your final demand. It's your final statement. And what's the term is now? Stand on business. When you say that, you can't come back off that.
Well,
You know what
I
I'm saying?
think I think if you give an ultimatum, it can be adjusted or revised based on because a person may say this, well, not yet. You got to do that, but you got to do it this way. You know. So I think it can be revised or repurposed. Depending.
The term was adopted into English in a mid 18th century, keeping its meaning of a final demand with a threat of consequences if not met.
Yeah, but I've seen people give ultimatum and say, well, when you ain't got to do that, but you got to do this. Where it changes up the whole
There
dynamic.
ain't really no ultimatum. Man, that's a choice.
No, this is an ultimatum because they still serious about whatever it is, but they just kind of changed up the maybe the delivery of it and maybe the reason for it a little bit. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I guess.
yeah, Monk said the ultimatum should depend on the purpose as well. Yeah, the
Mm,
reason. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it could very well survive. It just depends on and the delivery can kill it probably quicker than any. If you deliver it the wrong way,
Mm-hmm.
because the ultimatum may be a good, purposeful, reasonable ultimatum, but it's your delivery of it was just in a way where you're trying to tell. Oh no,
Mm-hmm.
So you got to watch your delivery too. Um, when it can help a relationship, ultimatum is actually a clear personal boundary. It's some kind of personal boundary that you've crossed or trying to cross, and it's a personal boundary that a person saying I'm not. Yeah, you're gonna have to do something different because you crossing this bound. This is a boundary for me, one that I hold personal and dear, and you're crossing it. And so um it should be given calmly and respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the delivery of it. When you start talking about giving some ultimatums, you might say, "Well, look, babe, look. So I've been thinking about this, and I love your family, but I just think like sometimes you just really go just way out of the way trying to help them, and I understand it's your family, but we gotta do something a little different, babe.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I might be like, well, what do you propose? But I mean, we just don't need to jump and run every time. We just gotta kind of sit in the way out and see what the options are before we just jump. Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, I like that what it says that it triggers growth rather than fear. I like that.
Yeah, and Monk just said if the ultimatum triggers fear more than growth, run.
Yeah,
And so
it's a
both
threat.
both part. That's why I say it's got to be given calmly and respectfully. Both
Mm-hmm.
partners commit to real lasting change. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
just talked about. Where I said, "Hey, I think da 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 da," and then the person, well, okay, so what does that really look? What do you propose?
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of, and then both of y'all commit to whatever that real lasting change is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it triggers growth rather than fear. If it's gonna trigger an area for me to grow in, cool. But if it's causing some kind of panic or fear in me, uh, yeah, that ain't gonna be good for me.
Yeah. Mm.
That right. The- Love responsibly.
I love that.
Absolutely.
I love
Yeah,
that.
love responsibly. Phyllis said you most definitely cannot be selfish when you deliver it. You got to be understanding and think of the other person's feelings. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why when you talk about if ultimatums can work or not, that delivery of it and how you deliver, you know, being respectful about it, let giving it in love, giving with that ultimatum in love, because I think that will trigger the growth in the relationship as opposed to triggering some kind of fear that will ultimately cause me to run to the hills and not from to the help from whence coming my help either. I guess sometimes we can be afraid to grow. Yeah, yeah. And that's I think some ultimatums really scare people because it's pushing me to grow. And I'm not maybe not ready to grow in that area or just haven't grown in that area. So um and I think I want to kind of say that's a different kind of fear, but I mean it's still fear, but it's a different kind of fear. Um Ms. Gwen said both partners must have a voice that is valued even in disagreement.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Like if you both can sit down and I can Monica can value what I have to say, I can value what she have to say, and we talk and we agree, even if we're disagreeing. You know what I'm saying? If we're not agreeing on something, we still can do it in love.
Mm-hmm.
I might be like, well, no, I don't really agree with that, babe, but let's let's work
Mm-hmm.
through it, you know. So I definitely think it can help the relationship when it's actually um, when you know that you're or the person has expressed that you are clearly violating a boundary that's personal for them. And if it's given calmly and respectfully, I think, if both partners are really willing to commit to a real lasting change, I think that's, you know, it- everybody got to have some skin in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and you just coming out telling me, just walking in the house, babe, this is it. I ain't doing it no more. You either gonna stop dealing with your mama or I'm gone. What?
Mm-hmm.
Bye? That might be my response if you come to me like that. But if you come and say, hey, babe, we need to really talk about, have a conversation about your mother. Well, what about my
Mm-hmm.
mom? Well, it seems like every time she's in, you had to run it, and I don't mind helping your mama, but I think sometimes we need to talk about it. We need to create some. I mean, because sometimes she's crossing some boundaries. And this look, if you one of them dudes that allows your mom to disrespect your wife, or you allow your wife to disrespect your mom, because you putting, especially if you don't say something, you have to say something. You have to say, look, mom, I'm not gonna look, you ain't gonna this is my wife. You're not gonna disrespect my wife. You're gonna talk right to my wife. This is my wife. I respect you as my mom. I love you as my mom, but that's my wife. And vice versa. And I think it becomes a real problem when it's the men that don't stand up in those situations.
Right.
When you talk about those type of ultimatums, the mother-in-law wife situation or father-in-law husband situation, is because somebody that's in the middle is really not addressing it, and not saying, hey, that's not okay, dad, for you to talk to my husband that way. Husband, that's not okay for you to talk to my dad like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we but sometimes we just let it fester. We let it go on till it's just so out of control till finally there is an ultimatum. Where the person's saying, I can't take this no more. Either you gonna leave them alone or I'm gone.
So it seems as if that it goes back to our key element, what we always talk about, is the communication piece. So
Communication.
nine to my 10, if you got into this moment, 9 to 10, it was some lack of communication.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I just said, the person is not, sharing with the mother, hey mom, you can't talk to my wife like that. Or wife, I'm not gonna allow you to talk. And we gotta, we gotta be we're adults. We gotta be, I love both of y'all. We gotta respect each other, you know. So and that happens. I'm grateful, man. My wife and mama love each other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, it don't always
Phyllis
work like that.
can't imagine having to sneak to talk to see someone because I'm in a I'm in a you better not situation.
Mm.
Wow. I ain't finna sneak and talk to nobody. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
I ain't, if you putting that on the table of the ultimatum, we gonna have to seriously talk, because I'm not gonna stop talking to my mama for you, and I ain't finna stop talking to my wife for my mama.
Mm-hmm.
So no. Craig said the ultimatums can only be respected if it comes from people who have shown to be accountable to their own issues as well. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that one. Here are some examples of unhealthy ultimatums. When you have some unhealthy ultimatums, I cannot stay in a relationship where there is cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. I, if she come to you or he come to you and say, hey, well, I'm not going to continue because you crossing those bounds, I'm not going to continue to stay in there. So if you're going to continue to do that, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna have to stop or I'm out. That's a healthy ultimatum. But it's
Mm-hmm.
causing the other person to have to grow and realize that what they have at home is more important than what they have outside of the home.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Let that one soak in. Let that one marinate.
Mm-hmm.
I can't continue if the drinking continues. That's healthy. That's a healthy ultimatum.
Yeah.
I've known people that have been given those ultimatums.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna continue to drink, do the drugs, I'm not staying.
Mm-hmm.
Continue to come in and steal all my stuff out the house while I'm at work trying to provide. No, I'm not. I'm not. Yeah, I'm out of here. These express boundaries, not manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm talking. I'm talking about you're violating the boundaries that I've set. and you're violating these boundaries. And I mean, these are real uh expectational boundaries. These are not something that I made up just to manipulate you and to stop doing something. No, these
Mhm.
are real healthy boundaries that you are
Right.
violating.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to manipulate you to stop doing something great. You're doing something good. I ain't trying to manipulate you to stop by giving you an ultimatum. I'm telling you that this drinking is causing a problem in our relationship.
Right.
This cheating is causing a problem
Mhm.
in the relationship. Craig said, I'm blessed. My parents have always been respectful and never overstepped, even when they knew I wasn't happy in a relationship. Look, me and Monica we ain't never like, even if the kids wanted to share something that was going on within them, within a relationship, we would give them the best healthy advice we could give them. And then we'll tell them ultimately, you the decision is yours. You have to make a decision whether you want to put up with this, or you want to have a conversation about, whatever. We ain't finna jump over there and start trying to tell the other person. No, we just not gonna do it.
Mhm.
And we didn't allow it in our own personal relationship. We didn't allow people to infiltrate our relationship to try to tell us, somebody trying to tell me how to handle Monica, or somebody trying to tell Monica how to handle me. No, we ain't do that. 'Cause first of all, we didn't share all our business with everybody.
Mhm.
Monica said, here's a good topic. How do you establish healthy boundaries in relationships, friendships, etc.? Absolutely.
Mm.
Might be tomorrow. You never know. Um, Miss Gwen said there are some non-negotiables. Like it's some stuff that it ain't negotiable. I don't care how you look at it. In a lot of cases, these non-negotiables have already been displayed, but because it's early in the relationship, honeymoon phase, is forgiven or overlooked.
Mm.
I would say this: if it's an issue that's clearly overstepped in the boundary that you established, there's no such thing as looking over it or it just being forgiven just because it was early in the relationship. There's a conversation.
Well, let me say this. I just watched and I didn't watch the whole podcast, but it was like a little tidbit of real. And the gentleman said, we always talk about this. He said, me and my wife been married 30 years. He said, but we didn't become one until we was married 10 years. I was like, whoa. So they were together all that time, but they hadn't become one.
Yeah, I mean that's realistic.
Mm-hmm.
That's realistic, baby, because most people don't spend years getting to know each other before they get married. Most people don't. If you
Mm-hmm.
get a lot of marriages, man, they be a dating a year, 2 years, and then all of a sudden they engaged, they married.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't necessarily live together all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but still, when you say I do, it's some stuff that and it still takes some time to get to know a person. Like me and Monica first 5 to 7 years was rocky.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't until we really understood each other. Well, we understood ourselves first. It wasn't
Right.
until we really, really understood ourselves where
Mm-hmm.
like I couldn't truly love Monica like she needed to be loved till I truly understood myself and knew how to love myself properly.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we became the best of friends, that's when our relationship took a turn for the better. And I could truly say that's when we became as one.
Right.
Our
Mm-hmm.
thinking, our everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
she could literally we can go to a restaurant and she could literally order off a menu for me and it'd be just what I want.
Correct.
Just, you know, yeah. Rodney said disrespect is my non-negotiable.
So it almost asks you another question since we coming up with topics and within the topics, you know, how much grace do you give? You know what I'm saying? When it comes to a situation like this, Is there a grace ending period?
I think it just depends on how, like, if we've had a conversation and we've talked about. That's why I said, for me, it ain't no such thing as looking over the honeymoon phase, looking over something and not forgiving. Now let's have a conversation about it. Let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about that thing, because you crossed a boundary, and I want to let you know that you crossed this boundary. Because if I don't let you know and you did it, guess what? You think it's okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then you do it again, and all that's gonna do is piss me off. But if I didn't told you about it, oh shit, let me not cross that boundary again, because I forgot. I
Mm-hmm.
almost forgot. She don't like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and don't allow people to downgrade your boundaries. Whoa,
Mm.
good. People would try to sway you into thinking it's okay to accept certain things and certain behaviors. Yep.
Yeah.
Now
That's
that's manipulation.
mm-hmm.
That's manipulation.
That's good right there.
Yeah, that's totally manipulation
Mm-hmm.
when people uh, actually try to downgrade your boundaries. Like the healthy boundaries you set up and say, hey, you can't cross these boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Craig said, if someone can't respect fundamental basics in a relationship, there's always going to be ultimatums, because either that person will never see the bigger picture or they don't care about the bigger picture at all. Yeah.
That's good too. Come on in here.
Zero accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't hold people accountable, then that's another reason. Like, if you don't really hold people accountable for their actions, they can think that that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Particular act is okay. You're okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to express, hey, these are boundaries that I'm not willing. These are, like Rodney said, this is a non-negotiable for me.
Right.
I'm not going to allow you to disrespect me. Period. That's a non-negotiable.
What's so crazy about these podcast opportunities and these subjects we be having? They be like action items to me. I don't know about you, because like I always be reflecting on, like, damn, did I do something? Did I do that? Do I need to do this better? What can I do to, you know
But
what I'm
that,
saying?
but they should cause you to think and reevaluate what you've done. That's why I'm not, and this early in the beginning, there were certain topics and stuff that I would tell you, I I don't I don't do that. I'm not going, what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do that particular topic. And then you said, Tony, well, how can people grow and be better because of that? He's especially when you talked about the sex thing, you was like, there are a lot of relationships that's struggling because people don't have these conversations. Or
Mm-hmm.
there's not a platform where people can have these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, you're right. You know.
Yeah.
Um, Miss Gwen said, Tony, I respectfully disagree. Often people will say what they won't tolerate until they walk in these shoes. Other factors like needs, self-worth, etc., can allow to pass until now. That's with some people. That's with
Mm-hmm.
some people. So that's the key there. Some people will say that, but if you have clearly set boundaries or expectations, you're not gonna, you can have some non-negotiables up front that you're not willing to. I mean, because there are some things that you just not gonna do to me. It's non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
And it ain't one of those things I'm just saying until I walk in that shoe. No, it's non-negotiable.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't know why this scripture keep popping in my head with this particular thought process with the ultimatum. But James says he encourages believers to be quick to listen, slow to
Mm-hmm.
speak, and
Mm-hmm.
slow to anger. This is
Yep.
because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires, and being slow to speak is a key part of having self control.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about this term and his words, it almost make you think, it's like is it just a selfish thing to get what you want in this particular time, or is it healthy at the particular time?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it
Yep.
just something that you want for your own self, gratitude or whatever?
Well, it's just like Miss Gwen said. Like I understand. Like some people say, well, um, I'll never. Oh, if it was me, if I came home and I saw she was cheating on me, well, I wouldn't I would grab my stuff and left.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next person said, well, until you in that shoes, until you've been hurt, you'll never know what that, you know what I'm saying? So I get what she's saying, but when I talk about non-negotiable some things, that even though I said, yeah, and then I may react different, but that's because that was a non-negotiable for me.
Mm-hmm.
Phyllis said, being transparent, the Hardaway family is and has always been a very close family. A lot of the significant others that haven't been raised that way can easily fall into these situations. I have seen it happen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can see that because when you have a family that's not very strongly family oriented, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They family been getting together and they family dynamic one like that. It's you gotta kind of almost give them some grace and give them some space to even understand it because they probably slick and they holler like, damn, I didn't get this going up. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Well,
slick and jealous, and they got to get to a point to where they receive it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So,
what, we talked about that a few months ago, Lavelle, that
mhm,
where sometimes people can, whereas like just say my family is a real close family, but then
mhm,
I married Monica and her fault, she knew nothing about the family dynamic and being close like that. You see what I'm
yeah,
saying? And
yeah,
then things that she operated in, a way she did stuff may be a lot different than the way I operate and way I do things because our family was close. You see what
mhm,
I'm saying?
mhm,
Well, I think in that still goes back to being, having a conversation. I got a conversation, said, baby, this is this, I see you do things this kind of this way. Kind of try to understand because sometimes, you know, even though that person grew up in a totally different family dynamic you still have a conversation where you could try to understand why is that person is thinking like that. Why is it
mhm,
that they operate like that?
mhm,
And vice versa. You can share with them the way the reason you operate like you operate or how you at least come up with some understanding. Now that person may say, "Oh, that makes more sense to do it
mhm,
or to react or respond or just be and until and then like you said, I believe in giving grace.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And there are some situations that like Ms. Glenn said, where people will say they won't tolerate. I will tolerate some things, but non-negotiable is me not tolerating. I can tolerate some stuff, but then there's some stuff that's non-negotiable that I ain't gonna tolerate. Period.
Mhm.
It's-
I was thinking this yesterday, and this is so crazy that we having this conversation because I believe what happens, man. When life be life and stuff be going on. Just they say, for instance, I don't know, a death in the family, or illness, uh,
Mhm,
or um, it's like it's like I use my situation for instance. When I had my situation with my illness, as far as my mental situation, I believe I lost some time in life to catch back up where I was, or
mhm,
where I should be, if you will. So when you think about the grace piece and why you have to give that grace, you don't know where that person is in their season in their life at that particular time. And so you thinking that person ought to be here, be able to receive, accept what you're saying, and they can't.
mhm,
You see what I'm saying? Because they
mhm.
they're not in the place to be able to be so. Because a lot of
Right.
times I think we just overly expect out of individuals because we think because they good in this area, they only able to go, to work and make that happen. But in another area, you be like, I'm struggling in this place
Mhm.
because of that time lapse that happened. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did that kind of make any sense?
Mhm. But so you I think establishing some good healthy boundaries are good. And when you have boundaries that you just will not tolerate or these non-negotiables, um, then I think that's when you have to really look at the relationship and if you haven't already had a conversation, say, hey, I think we too it's not that we're too trusting. It's like we take everything people do a lot of times at face value instead of like really digging on the deeper we look at it from a surface view instead of digging deeper to find out what's really causing this type of behavior, why this person really saying this or act this way. Because it's like we scared to really, because what we may find out. We scared to dig deeper inside a person because we don't want to expose something, and then they might not be willing to even share that much with us, depending on what the trust that we've established between each other.
That's good. That's
Because
good.
if we haven't established enough trust between each other, I may not really open up and share with you too much of my past or my or any trauma that I've had in the past, because we not there yet.
hmm
So I'm not willing to share or be as transparent or be as vulnerable with you in that moment.
It's
And
almost like
that's why when you said, gave the example of the person who said that they had been married 10 years before they became one, I can understand that. I can see that.
right.
That there's that growth period in there where we're learning more about each other, more about ourselves. And now, because of that growth, we accept each other flaws. We accept each. You see what I'm saying? Now we understand. Like I've gotten to know you and I understand you.
Yeah. It's almost because it's kind of an oxymoron, but it's almost like a term that you would use called damage control because all of us have some damage. All of us have some flaws, and but sometimes the damage and the flaws, when you even when we understand diamonds and understand how the more the flaws and it betters the characteristic of the gem of the diamond, you know what I mean? And a lot of times we try to hide those things and keep them hid, but sometimes you need to share those things because we use that word transparency and say we keeping it real, but a lot of times we ain't always up there like we should be.
Hmm. Craig says sometimes what someone misses um, throughout their childhood can hinder them in adulthood. You can meet someone who truly gives you a different transparency and a completely different outlook on life.
He
Yep.
just he just said what I said.
Monica said, establish healthy boundaries with the understanding that you will have to allow grace because nobody's perfect, but there is a fine line with continued toxic behavior for or exceptions of boundaries being crossed. Absolutely.
Mm, yeah.
Y'all do good. Y'all do good. Uh, when ultimatums hurt the relationship, we just
Mm,
talked about examples of healthy ultimatums. Well, these are some or ultimatums that can hurt the relationship.
mhm.
When you
If you
used to control, manipulate, or threaten. When you use ultimatums to control people, manipulate, or threaten.
mhm.
When the ultimatum is issued in anger or frustration.
You go to scripture piece I just shared. It goes right into it.
Hey, he that is without sin
Cast the first
has the
stone.
first stone.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible says all have sinned
And fallen.
and come short of the glory of God. So ain't none of us perfect. Uh, but me telling you, me sharing with you boundaries that I have, and you cross the boundaries and you continue to cross the boundaries. To me, what you're saying is I don't respect you or your boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't respect me or my boundaries, why are we in this relationship?
Then too, bro. I think what happens as well. You said it a while back. It's like we don't have no grit, no grind no more. We just want to give up on every damn thing. Just what, forget it. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Go ahead, bye. Don't worry
We
about
don't
it.
want to talk about nothing. We don't want to share nothing. And look, the perfect example of not talking about something that happened. Do we them
hmm
sisters that we talked about on the show?
Yeah, yeah. 10 years.
She saw something that she thought she saw, but
hmm
really she didn't see.
hmm
And and you can't 10 years, bro, you can't get them back.
Yeah, that time gone.
That time is gone. Miss Gwen said, I've experienced where the trust or non-negotiable wasn't broken in the beginning. Instead of immediately walking away, it was a process to work through. I had to find my voice and self-worth. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
But I think in those moments, um, where you was being manipulated or controlled because that person realized that you didn't really understand you didn't have a voice, or you didn't really know your people know. That's how they manipulate you and can try to control you when they know that your self-esteem is low, or just you don't understand what your self worth is, that you're not going to say much because you don't really have a voice, you're not going to talk, you're not going to speak up for yourself. And it's kind of one of those things where they'll just use it and manipulate you and control you till they can't control you no more, till they hurt
Yeah.
you done, you know.
And a lot of it too, bro. And I was watching Kirk Franklin's
You got to
podcast.
find that inner strength.
Yeah, I was watching Kirk Franklin podcast, and Matt Barnes said something, and Doc says it all the time as well. A lot of time, why we get in these situations, we don't work on us. You gotta really have that mirror moment, and you gotta, a lot of folks don't stay in the mirror long enough. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And really work on you. You know what I'm saying? And see their true reflection. Because a lot of times you trying to deflect stuff on a person when you really ain't, it ain't got nothing to do with them. It's you.
Hmm.
You don't want no type of accountability, no type of responsibility for your actions, and that don't work. It
And you
just don't.
definitely don't want to look in the mirror.
Yeah, it ain't gonna work. And I'm, when he said that, I was like, bro, that's just what it is. So you can't give me something when you ain't got it together your damn self.
Look at 3. The partner feels forced instead of supported.
Yeah.
If
Hmm.
you're in a relationship, any kind of relationship, whether it's marriage, dating, or friendship, and everything about that relationship feels forced. Like they don't that there's no area or aspect of that relationship where you're being supported, and nothing that you do, or
Hmm.
anything. Everything feels forced, man. It's
Hmm.
not a great relationship. It's not a good relationship.
Yeah.
Then there's a pattern of repeated ultimatum. And then, when there's a pattern of repeated ultimatums where they threatening you or trying to manipulate, control you, that trust been gone. Talking about
Hmm.
eroding trust. Oh, that trust is out the window.
At that point, it's something mental. And again, like I say, in most
It is,
cases, when it's
it
like
is even worse if you stay in it.
right,
But the person could stay in it because of they've been threatened, or they fear that,
right.
like Monica said earlier, if you fear of these ultimately cause fear, you better get out quick.
Hmm.
And that's the kind of fear, that threatening fear, where you feel like your life is being threatened, or you don't feel safe, like this person could really do something. And it's those people that talk to you really calm, dangerously calm.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They say that, if you leave me, it's not gonna be good. And like that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I've seen it. I've seen it, Doc.
I like that's the person I'd be like, I gotta get out of here quick. Cause the person that just hit the wall behind you, and side your head, and
Hmm.
at least you see that coming. But that other thing,
Hmm.
you ain't gonna see that one.
Yeah.
So they used ultimatums to control, manipulate, or threaten, and they issue ultimatums in anger or frustration. And if you feel forced instead of supported, get out. Uh, and those repeated ultimatums is just gonna eventually erode all the trust. Miss Gwen said there's a Netflix reality show, The Ultimatum, where couples must make the decision to honor the ultimatum at the end of the show.
Hmm.
Boy, please. Man, look, I wouldn't even want to be on that show. I'm just being honest with you.
Right.
I would not want to be on that show.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's probably just for uh uh you know, it is it probably not real. because I was looking at we looking at a movie, uh Welcome to Paris,
Mm-hmm.
something like that, where this lady had was trying to become part of this uh reality show, and all these women thought they would to meet this eligible bachelor, and they thought they were going to Paris, like Italy, Paris, France,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and they were going to Paris, Texas. They were going to Paris, Texas, and it just wasn't the same. They all felt duped, and then when they just realized, hey, what it was, it's like we got to make the best of this situation. They was manipulated, and because they said was, we going to Paris. They
Right.
ain't in Paris, Texas.
Mm.
The girl got on the plane. She said, I ain't know Paris look just like Texas.
Well, it's crazy.
Yeah, man, these movies something else. So ultimatums that hurt the relationship. These are ones that hurt the relationship. And so the real deciding factor is, and it ain't a thing in Paris, Texas. He said, ain't nothing there. Survival comes from communication,
That's it.
not the ultimatum itself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. So
That's it.
survival of the relationship comes from communication and not the ultimatum itself.
Mm-hmm.
Both partners must have honest dialogue. I've been saying it through this whole show.
Yeah.
Just be talk, man. You got to be talking and communicating and dialogue with one another, just trying to get to, even if the ultimatum is presented, and it's presented in care and with love, you know, why was the ultimatum given?
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh, I mean, if I'm drinking, I know why the ultimate. If I'm on drugs, if I'm cheating, I know why the ultimatum is given. But
Right.
it's one of those ultimatums of, hey, I just think you're doing too much for your family, and it's affecting our finances. Then that's one of those ones where you have to sit down and really communicate and see, because you may be the one that's trying to do everything, but the other person is the one that holding the purse, and see how it's affecting you financially.
Well, even with the drinking and stuff, a lot of time what happens is because drinking, whether it's overeating, drinking, or whatever the case may be, a lot of time it's just self medication, and it's the lack of the communication piece, or the lack of doing the self worth and getting some mental help, or whatever the case may be. It's a reason why that person is doing it.
Yeah. Um, Healing requires teamwork and mutual respect.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about ultimatums, and somebody giving you an ultimatum, uh, it there has to it's gonna require both of y'all some give and take.
Mm-hmm. Compromise.
It ain't gonna be no this you and this what happened, this me and this what happened. It's, let's sit down, let's talk about this, let's see why this is affecting what we're doing. You know, and so hopefully, Phyllis said a lot of the time it may come from insecure people, like you say, look in the mirror. Yeah, it's the person that haven't dealt with their own traumas, or their own traumas in life, their past traumas, or childhood traumas, or whatever. And and so, and then, so is there a such thing as an unreasonable ultimatum? Yeah, I believe it is. I believe we can have unreasonable ultimatums where we just really hadn't thought about um how this particular thing is really affecting everybody involved.
Mm-hmm.
This is unreasonable. And we haven't talked about it. We haven't discussed it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. I mean, your mic died or something?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Y'all know what time it is. Put them phones down, fingers up. It's time to clock that tea with your girl Queen Watkins. I hope y'all are having an amazing day. But y'all know what time it is. It's time to clock that tea. Y'all, there is a viral video going around of a 60-year-old man, y'all, that won 100K for being a good Samaritan. But that video went viral and it didn't got to his family, y'all, and stuff didn't hit the fan, okay? Let's talk about it. So there are some content creators that goes around and go in the streets and act as if they're blind. They need some type of help. They need maybe some food, something. And if the person actually helps them, they bless that random person well financially, right? So this 60-year-old man, he was walking down the street and the content creator was acting as if he was blind. So this man was helping this content creator, helping him do what he needed to do, get across the street, whatever, whatever. So at the end, the guy was like letting them know, like, hey, I'm not even blind, right? But I appreciate you for being a good person. And because you are a good person, I'm gonna give you $100,000. Now, mind you, if you know, you know, when you are a content creator and you're a big content creator, your stuff can go viral quick. Viral means viral, like people from your city, other cities, states, whatever, they see your content. So this guy, this man's family, seen that he won 100K. Now I don't know if it was from the video, if the guy told them about it, but his family ended up learning about it, and they done plotted on this man to steal his money. Not only was it the mother, there was, I don't think it was his mama. I think it was like his nephew mama or something. It might be his sister or something. Um, the brother that's in jail, I guess, because you feel like you got all the time in the world to sit your ass up in there and plot on how to rob this 60-year-old man. Y'all couldn't have just asked that man for some money. He had $100,000. Y'all couldn't have just, hey, unc, hey, cuz, can I hold 100? Right? That's why folks don't be telling people when they be getting money or even have money. Because folks is shicey out here. For $100,
Yes.
they'll probably plot on somebody, but that's neither here nor there. Let's continue. So they plotted on this man to steal all his money. So one day he was driving and he seen a family friend and she looked like she needed car troubles. So he went and he helped her. He told her to get in his car and asked her where she wanted him to drop her off at. She told him the place, and when he got to the place, y'all, these folks then, it's two people that came out for this man. Two people, and they pulled his shirt over his head and hog tied him and put him in his own car, drove him to different ATMs to get the money out. Also went back to his house, told them folks, told him if he would say something, they gonna hurt his wife, right? Went home, made him open his safe from the house. They weren't done with him. After that, they took his car, parked it in a field, and left him in there and lit the car on fire. Can't make this shit, can't make it up. Can't make it up. So they left that man for dead. Luckily, somebody in Detroit was a good Samaritan like he was and went and pulled him out of that burning car so he can at least try to have some type of chance, right? But that is so messed up. That story just tell you can't trust everybody. But then again, we don't even know if the man told his family because the video went viral. So from the content creator that gave him that money. Now, that's just like when people win the lottery. When certain people win the lottery, they don't say nothing. Because, baby, folk, you will never know. It could be your inner circle that's got it for you. And you wouldn't even know. And this man's 60 years old, and y'all did all this stuff to this man. But guess what? Look how good God is. He still made it through all this mess. And I hope everybody that did it right in hell. For real. Because y'all messed up. All right, y'all. That's all the tea that I have today. Make sure y'all tune in to 2 Minutes Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. sharp. And don't forget to stay tuned for your girl, Queen Watkins. Clock that tea. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye.
Man, these people off the chain, man. They be doing anything for that money.
That's crazy, bro.
Among us said Queen made 60 sound so old. You know, she is still in her twankies. So
Yeah.
so 60 for her might be old. Right around the corner for me. So it ain't old. This whole scenario is ridiculous, but goes to show you your enemies can be closer than you think. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. Well, thank y'all today for another great show, man. Appreciate y'all, man. I'm looking forward to Saturday. Hope you guys are looking forward to Saturdays, man. I'm so excited about Saturday, man. We are just, man, happy, man. I just can't wait. I'm excited. All right, the man closes out with a prayer, brother.
All right. Good topic today. Good topic. Really enjoyed it. It's amazing how you can pull so much stuff out of one topic and get some more topics, get some more conversations. So
Mm-hmm.
we got to go. What was that Monica gave to us? Dog. She says healthy boundaries. I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
How you can establish healthy boundaries. How do you establish healthy boundaries in a relationship?
yeah, that was good. Yeah, dig that.
All right.
Let's pray. Most gracious, eternal God, our Father, our God, we thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for life. Thank you for our families. Thank you for our loved ones. Thank you for thank you for friends, because all the time family is not friends, and friends uh, is good in this season. God, we thank you for the ones that not only are friends but also show themselves friendly. Lord God, we thank you for Tony family, my family, Queen family, and every family that's associated. We thank you for giving us 2 Man Heads podcast to be able to minister and share opportunities and topics that help all of us to make better choices and evolve and be better in our lives, Lord. And we ask you to meet us the same time tomorrow. We got to do all these things in daughter's son Jesus' name, man. We see it. Amen.
Amen, man. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same bad time.
Same bad place.
2 Men in Hats.
Let's talk about it.
The 2 Minute Hats podcast with your hosts with the most, Tony and Lavelle, every morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We also have Queen Watkins with Clock Dead. Tune in with us and have a great time. Let's talk about it right here. 2 Minute Hats podcast.